Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain a sci-fi thriller film called Blindness. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The movie begins with the scene of a young man on his way to work, suddenly going blind in the middle of a traffic stop. When the traffic light turns green and the man is not able to move his car, the cars behind him begin honking at him repeatedly. Soon, some concerned city dwellers approach the man and learn that he has lost his vision. A good Samaritan named X offers to drive the man home and help clear the traffic. As they head to his apartment, the blind man describes his sudden affliction as an expanse of dazzling white, as though he is swimming in milk. Eventually, they arrive at the blind man's upscale apartment. However, as soon as the blind man gets out of his car, the rescuer flees with his vehicle. Later, the blind man's wife returns home and is shocked to learn about her husband's condition. She immediately decides to take him to a local ophthalmologist. The doctor performs a thorough examination of the man's eyes, but fails to find the reason for his sudden blindness. He should have asked him if he'd been watching Jake Paul's YouTube channel. For most blind people, everything goes dark, but the blind man mentions seeing white. The doctor refers the man to a hospital. Meanwhile, the man who stole the blind man's car runs into a police check. Afraid of getting caught, he illegally changes lanes and abandons the car. However, before he could get away, the man gets his karma and suddenly goes blind, just like the man who he stole from. At home, the doctor tells his wife about the strange illness. After eating the dinner that she makes for him, the doctor stays up late to research the condition. By the next morning, 2 more people become victims of the illness, a local prostitute who always wears dark glasses, and the doctor himself. The doctor's wife tries to examine his eyes, but he pushes her away, afraid of infecting her with the condition. However, she refuses his attempts to keep her at arm's length, and promises she will be safe. In various locations of the city, several more citizens are struck blind, causing widespread panic. The government takes cognizance of the situation and prepares a quarantine facility in a local derelict asylum. A crew wearing hazmat suits arrives outside the doctor's home to pick him up. Worried about him, the doctor's wife climbs into the van with him, pretending to be blind herself to accompany him into isolation. The facility has been divided into multiple wards, and each ward must elect a ward captain to represent them and communicate with the outside world. The woman who wears dark glasses, the first blind man, the car thief, and a young boy join the doctor in his ward. The first blind man quickly recognizes the car thief's voice, and a fight breaks out between the two. I doubt this fight will be very noteworthy. The doctor breaks them apart, and effectively assumes the role of the ward's captain. The doctor's wife teaches the blind how to navigate in the corridors. She somehow seems to be immune to the deadly virus, and has her eyesight intact. More blind people join the doctor's ward, including the first blind man's wife. With the number of infected people rapidly increasing, in a due course of time, more and more people are crammed into the same facility, way beyond its capacity. The overcrowding and neglect from the government causes the hygiene and living conditions in the facility to deteriorate rapidly. The walls and the floors soon become caked in filth and feces, people become increasingly hopeless. Anxiety over the availability of food caused by irregular deliveries undermines the infected people's morale. The soldiers who guard the asylum become increasingly hostile, and the government refuses to allow in basic medicines, so that a simple infection can become deadly. One day, the doctor's wife meets an old man with an eye patch in the facility. He lives in another ward, but asks to move to the doctor's ward. The old man has a radio, so the doctor's wife allows him to change wards. The old man tells the doctor and others in his ward about the things he knows about the outside world through the radio. He tells them that the sudden blindness, which is known as the white sickness, has spread all around the world, with hundreds of cases being reported every day. The governments around the world held countless seminars and roundtable talks on the situation, but couldn't find a solution. Things quickly went out of control, and the outside world has come to a halt. One day, while delivering a new batch of infected people to the facility, a blind man wanders away from his group and gets mercilessly shot by the soldiers. Panic ensues, and 2 other people are killed in the resulting stampede. The following day, the soldiers callously toss a shovel over the wall that surrounds the quarantine facility and order the infected people to bury the corpses of the people killed the other day. The doctor proposes that they divide the work, and each ward buries 1 body. People of Ward 3 are not pleased with the idea, and they refuse to take responsibility for people they don't even know. The doctor clashes with their leader, who declares himself as the king of Ward 3. Over the course of the next few days, the thief, who is no longer able to walk because of an infection, finds out the truth about the doctor's wife. He confronts her about it, and pleads with her to help him escape so he could get his infection treated. However, the doctor's wife dismisses him and tells him that he is wrong about her. Fed up of waiting for the treatment, the thief attempts to flee the facility that night, but predictably he fails and ends up getting shot dead. The doctor's wife feels she is responsible for the thief's death, but the doctor tells her that she is already doing everything she can. When she continues to insist that she should have come clean about her eyesight, the doctor gets upset with her and tells her that she is already acting like everyone's mother and she doesn't need to do more. The King of Ward 3 and his men hold everyone at gunpoint and take control over the food that the government delivers. He orders everyone to hand over their valuable possessions to him in exchange for rations. The infected reluctantly relinquish their valuables, with which they had sentimental value attached, in exchange for food, which is way less than they used to get before. Moreover, due to frustration of being unable to take care of himself, and a feeling of helplessness, the doctor and his wife continue to drift apart. After finding the doctor upset, the woman with the dark glasses comforts him, and tries to cheer him up. One thing leads to another, and the doctor and the woman end up having sex. Both immediately regret it, even more so when they realize that the doctor's wife witnessed their entire tryst. The woman apologizes to his wife, and learns about her eyesight. The next day, the King of Ward 3 demands women in exchange for food. People refuse to comply, and 3 days pass by. The doctor's wife asks the soldiers outside for food, but they tell her that they have already received food for the week, and the responsibility of distribution is solely on the people inside. Desperate for food, people begin debating whether they should comply with the Ward 3's demands. They ask the doctor for advice. He tells them that he is in no place to guide them, and asks them to do whatever they feel like doing. One by one, the women volunteer to the men in Ward 3. The next day, the Ward 3 men take the women of Ward 2. A Ward 3 man taunts the doctor's wife on his way back, which makes her snap. She takes a pair of scissors to Ward 3 and murders their leader. She proudly boasts to the Ward 3 men that they will never be able to know who she is before walking away with the women. She tells her husband about the revenge, but he could care less about it. He is more worried about the possible war. The people of Ward 1 and 2 learn about the assassination of the King of Ward 3 and grow worried about a retaliation. Meanwhile, they barricade their wall, anticipating a possible war. The group then discusses giving up the person who killed the leader of Ward 3. Hearing this, the doctor's wife almost gives herself up, but she is interrupted by the radio man, who suggests that they should get the food back themselves. In this way, the group plots a plan to fight back. One of the girls from Ward 1 sneaks into Ward 3 and lights a chair on fire. This gives Ward 1 the opportunity to approach Ward 3 with weapons. However, the fire has spread to all wards, and chaos ensues. Everyone goes outside, and the doctor's wife calls out to the guards, but finds out that no one is there. She then finds out that the doors are unlocked, and everyone finally just leaves the place. As they walk around the city, they notice how far society has fallen, and they take in the devastation around them. Blind people roam the streets, and everything looks grim. Eventually, the doctor and his wife head out to salvage supplies. The doctor tries telling his wife that he misses her, but she remains cold and ignores his sentiments. The wife then enters a supermarket, but finds that all the racks are empty, and people are going paranoid with hunger. She then ventures to the basement and finds a large stack of food that she hadn't even dreamt of for ages. She collects 2 bags of supplies and goes upstairs. However, the hunger-stricken people sense that she has something and immediately attack her. The doctor, who is waiting at the door, rushes to aid her, and the couple run away. After they reach a safe place, the doctor realizes that he has left his clothes behind at the supermarket, so he returns to get them back. The tired wife sits and looks on as a pack of dogs eat a dead man. Suddenly, a dog comes by and gives her company. It starts raining, so she goes inside, and the dog follows her. The doctor also arrives with his clothes, and after putting on jackets, they head back to their place. Outside, the people enjoy the rain, and are seen rejoicing in the experience, even if it's just for a little while. The following day, the doctor's wife takes the group to their home. Fortunately, no one had invaded their home, and it looks intact. She then cleans up the messy place in order to make everyone feel at home. There, everyone is seen helping each other, as if they are one big family. The 3 women later take a tour, where they are laughing and enjoying the experience. The doctor's wife describes the women to themselves, as they haven't seen themselves in a long while. Later that night, the radio man expresses his happiness on the fact that he has met a lot of good people during these critical times. He also continues by saying that they can live together like this for a long time. During dinner, the doctor's wife cheerfully describes the items and their locations on the table, and the group has an awkward cheers, which they laugh at. That night, the doctor and his wife finally make love, and he explains how much he loves her. The following morning, the doctor's wife wakes up early and makes her special coffee for everyone. Suddenly, the first man starts seeing everything around him. Mixed with feelings of shock and joy, he exclaims that everything is very beautiful. He then goes around the house, greeting everyone with happiness. Everyone is extremely happy at the new revelation, thinking that it's only a matter of time before their sight is back as well. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.